Let's start off with LIV Golf. Jon Rahm wins his first professional. LIV is his tour. It is a tour. Wins his first professional golf tour since 2024. Finally gets a win, edging out Thomas Gentry and Harold Varner. I've been happy that homie Harold Varner got him a victory. Don't even think he has a professional victory in regards to PGA Tour or LIV victory. He might have a team victory on LIV, but he doesn't have a solo victory. So was rooting for that homie, but unfortunately couldn't pull it out, man. But shout out for Jon Rahm, man. This was a big week for him. Like I said, a lot of things going on between him, the DP World Tour. There were some issues about some of his teammates and other LIV players being stuck in the Middle East. But admirable guy here. He got a PJ, flew it out there. Not him personally flew it out there, but flown a PJ out there to get his fellow LIV teammates or competitors, wherever you want to call, and got them over here. But my issue with that is, where was LIV during this time? Like, where were you guys? Like, why couldn't you have gotten them? Now, I read articles and stuff. LIV was trying to work something out to get these guys over here. But from the outside perspective, it seemed like it was so easily for Jon Rahm just to get the PG over there, pick those guys up and bring them up. Not to say that it was easy, but I think it was easier for him to do it. And it makes me think, like, does Rahm have more pull than the guys in the background or LIV? Which is very, very weird to me, man. So, you know, I think LIV One needs to reimburse Jon Rahm for what he did, because he didn't have to do that at all. Granted, some of those guys were his teammates, but like not every person was. Like Thomas Gentry is on the Four Aces, which is a teammate of Anthony Kim, who beat him at Adelaide last week. So he could have been like, you know, I don't even want Thomas Gentry here. But admirable guy, man. And I think maybe it's just me speaking from my perspective. Jon Rahm does come off as kind of like a unwelcoming person, not approachable, always looking kind of angry. But oh, my dog Nate is finally on.
Yo,
Nate,
what's
right
up,
on
dude?
time, bro. I was just what's good. I was just talking about how Jon Rahm sent the PJ over to get the guys from LIV, and how that was really admirable of him. Granted, I was also saying how Jon Rahm, from an outside perspective, doesn't really look approachable. Doesn't really look like he's a kind guy. But I want to know your thoughts in regards to Jon Rahm being able to send the PJ over to LIV. I mean, to the Middle East to get the guys to play in the LIV tournament, and how like the obviously the guys from the top down of LIV couldn't do it. Because I said that LIV needs to reimburse Jon Rahm for getting those guys over there.
Yeah, that's a hot take, but I think it would be this is the thing. It was admirable of Jon Rahm to do that for the Live players, and I think it would be admirable if Live reimbursed him for all his troubles. It's weird because like Rahm is standoffish. It appears when
Very.
he like is with the media or maybe with fans a little bit, like from the little that I've seen, but. From what I can tell, like I think his teammates at ASU liked him. There was that when he won the U.S. Open, there was like videos of him celebrating, um, and like hitting shots out of his backyard into like the course that he lived on and stuff like that. So I think we just don't see that side of Jon Rahm as consumers and as fans. But I think
Mm-hmm.
there's another side of him that's obviously like he's well liked. He cares about these players that he plays with, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see who can out altruist who, the Live guys or Jon Rahm?
Yeah, great question, man. But I know there's one person or one entity that does not like Jon Rahm, and right now it's the DP World Tour. So Jon Rahm is currently in a tense standoff with the DP World Tour regarding 2026 membership terms, rejecting a deal that required paying fines and playing 6 events, calling it extortion. Unlike other LIV golfers, he refuses to play more than the minimum 4 events, putting his 2027 Ryder Cup eligibility in jeopardy. A move criticized by Rory McIlroy as a shame. So, Nate, from what you've researched or kind of heard in regards to this whole thing with DP World Tour and Jon Rahm, do you side with Rahm, who wants more flexibility and control in regards to playing on the DP World Tour, or with Rory McIlroy, who believes players should follow the tour rules, or are you indifferent to the situation?
Well, the issue is like all these other DP World Tour slash Live players are willing to pay the fines, and they're willing to just more or less accept their consequences. And it's not like, from what I understand, it's not like the rules are just written yesterday. Where like just kind of like when Live was a thing, the PGA was like, we got these new rules. If you join this new league, we hate you, you know. But I feel like these
Yeah,
rules were kind of like you have to play events. Like if you're on the PGA, you have to play a certain amount of events to maintain your status. Just like unless you get injured and that kind of stuff, but you have to file
yeah,
that with the PGA Tour. Same
right.
thing with DP World Tour. Like they're not going to make an exception just because you're Jon Rahm.
Yeah. Well, actually, I saw that the actual rules for playing on DP World Tour it requires a four events played to
Oh,
keep your membership. So him saying like, "Why are y'all making me play six?" is an issue. And he said if it was four, he would sign right now and pay the fine and go on.
oh,
But the fact that they're trying to make him play in these extra two events is like, bro, like what's the point? Because uh, outside of I live golf, they only play what like 14 events, so it's a limited field. So you kind of have to play in every event. But these other tours like PGA Tour, DP World Tour that has way more events. A lot of
yeah.
guys, they pick and choose what events they want to play in. So for them to try and force an extra two events that he wouldn't even play in if he were just a regular DP World Tour member, it's like, why are you forcing me to play in this rule? I mean, play in this tournament. So um, to a degree, like I kind
Yeah.
of lean a little bit with Rom. However, you know, I think I'm just so anti Rory to a degree. It's like I rather side with Rom because because you know the rules are rules. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. But I think part of it because Rory's so pro PGA. It's like I want to see you guys you know honor your consequence because you should never have left this tour. This tour. But at the same time, I
Yeah.
said this
Roy
before.
is like
Yeah, I
that.
said this before. Yeah, and I said this before too. Is part of me thinks that this is good news for Liv because they're like, man, like Rom is rocking with us. Like it looks like he's here to stay, which you kind of hope that with all the rumors in regards to Bryson
That's
possibly leaving after 2026.
that's how the PGA felt before Ron left. So, you know,
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. But I think he's going where the money goes, honestly. So if they continue to pay,
yeah.
Rom is probably going to be on Live after 2026. And if he can win this appeal, hopefully, we can see him on the Ryder Cup in 2027. Now, the USA team doesn't want to see him on the Ryder Cup in 2027 because he played
Yeah, no.
phenomenal those
Too
first three
good.
days or first 2 days, excuse me.
Too good of a
But
player, yeah.
yeah, right. But yeah, let us know in the comments, guys. What do you think about this Jon Rahm DP World Tour beef, man? Do you side with Rahm? Do you side with Roy? Are you indifferent? Would love to know.